Hello and welcome. It is, of course, time for the Solo Tabletop RPG. As soon as we are sure that everything is working, of course. Just making sure all of our settings are good before we begin. And they are. Well, they are what they are. So, of course, it is time for the Solo Tabletop RPG. We have decided to be a bit more risky, violent, mission-taking, and all that, as is fitting of a mercenary on a trip of revenge, despite, trying to sort of complete our mission. I mean, look, we're in a city on some backwater world. Let's take some contracts, earn some cash, and that kind of thing, and help out our faction, sort of. I mean, they're not really our faction, but, So, that's our plan. To be a bit more I'm blanking on the word, but action-oriented, yes. Bit more action-oriented. As soon as we just make one last check. Yep, good. So, I'm not going to explain how everything works, as I've done it a million times. Well, 18 archived times or so, and many more unarchived times. So, let's begin. Switching over to here. So, you learn all this. Our adventure is heading, well, basically, we're heading over to the, we went to the other area, gathered intel. I suppose our next objective would be to return to base. Theoretically, 8 in-game hours, we'll get contact from our contact. We'll get in contact with our contact, who is a mercenary. What's it? A mercenary contact networker. So basically, they'll be able to get us contracts and all of that. But that's 8 in-game hours away. Surely, there's something we can do for 8 in-game hours. I mean, we could literally just go, let's pass 8 in-game hours. And, it would be done in a second, a literal second. So, we could do that, but let's not. I mean, we're going to get to the action-oriented stuff, don't you worry. What I mean is, let's see whether there's something we can do without doing that. For instance, one bit of mention. Theoretically, I have a plan for next World Building Wednesday. That is, next World Building Wednesday, I have an idea that we are going to work on the overworld map, because we talked about it last time on Solo Sunday. I'm pretty sure it was Solo Sunday we talked about it. It was either that or at some point. We talked about the locations of the cities and all that, but we don't really have a map for the world. We never made a world map for this place. Of course, it's going to be map only as necessary and so forth, but we're going to make it a bit more clear where things are on next World Building Wednesday, meaning we'll be working with the hex maps. Well, this isn't the right one. Where is it? I have a slightly better one. Here we are. Oh no. Yeah, the one with the worlds too. Of course, I'll need to get a right scale world. The, as you can see, these are different size, but they're actually not the same image, if you want to be technical. These, while they, you know, look the same but smaller, they're not actually the same. Not that it really matters, but basically, they have a certain number of actual hexes in each one. Each one has slightly less actual hexes, more so than just being scaled smaller. So I'll have to prepare, I believe, a size 8 world. I believe we're on a size 8 world, as you can see from like this one, a size 8 world, which is, I believe, 8 squares across. Yeah, 8, because this is a half and that's a half. So, and larger scales have number of hexes equal to this size. Like I believe the largest one on that one is like 20. I believe it has to count. We're not going to count, but I believe it's like 20. So it has 20 squares and is actually different more so than just scaled. Anyway, enough of that world building talk. This isn't World Building Wednesday. This is solo TTRPG Sunday-ish, sort of. Let's not think about that. Oh, wrong map. So yeah, we'll work a bit on that. Also, we'll make an actual city map on one of those grids, because the grids have different scales and so forth, also within their own things. But it will make it a little bit easier to make districts and all that, because every square in, well, there are different scales of that, and every square in there has a different scale for the smaller scale ones than, not the world ones, but the smaller scale ones. And basically, they go to, I believe, now I need to know, or I'm going to be annoyed with myself. 1 kilometer with subhexes of 100 meters, which would make it a lot easier to make a city, just for at least like a, overview of districts. Then we'll keep our, of course, city maps. These need work at some point, but anyway, now I'm sorry. One more tangent. Not really a tangent, just something I want to know, because it's going to annoy me if I don't know. Meters to feet, meters 100, 328, rounded, 328. Okay, so you're looking at, ah, okay, we did it. I didn't need to know, really. 300. So yeah, roughly, that's weird. Roughly one block. One block, give or take a square, rounding. It's hard to round a 20 or 28, I believe. Let's double, yeah, 328. Sort of difficult to round when you have only squares of 50. Sorry, something's beeping at me in the background. Half a second. My apologies. I'll be right back. So, as I was saying, I mean, I suppose you should round up because it's above 2.5, but it would throw off all our maps, so 300. I'm also curious, what's the actual scale? Because I know that the scale of a block is not measured to be 100 meters. I know that. I'm pretty sure of that, at least. I could be wrong. This is 300. What is it in actual scale? Now I want to know that. It'll only take a second. What is it in actual scale? This is a block, by the way. Luckily, measure out. 330. So it is 100 meters I should have remembered that. That's just me being dumb. Because I know that this is 500 meters and that there are 5 of those blocks, so a block should in fact be 100 meters. I sort of, I didn't decide on squares being 50 feet, but I did decide personally when making the entire thing that squares were going to be 100 meters. I decided on that. I should have remembered that, honestly. But I mean, we have thousands of pages of rules. So, well, like 1,000, probably more. I haven't really counted in a while. There's a lot of rules. I can't remember everything I worked on. But, anyway, enough rambling. As stated before, I suppose 3 seconds more rambling. The scale on this map is always ever so slightly off due to that fact. Because, 50 is the minimum snap. So, and we have it set the way it is so it fits, as you can see. Theoretically, if you have things side by side, theoretically, I think it's set so if they're all side by side, it equals a full thing, and if we wasn't, it would shift. Look, it's complex. It's not really complex, it's just annoying to think about. Anyway, that is absolutely enough of that. Let's get to actually playing the game. So, our adventure, Juliana Aldous, where should we head? Should we head to the industrial area and kick up some trouble? See what they want. Well, let's ask some questions to our allies and we'll convert those to the bot, basically. So, Juliana Aldous will contact her allies, the local gang we're working with, not the mercenary allies or the government, the local gang, and she'll ask them what their allegiance, not allegiance, but like, what is their disposition towards the industrial gang up north of them. And we're rolling. Well, I suppose that should. How are we phrasing it? No, we'll do a D8. It'll make it easier than a yes no. So the question is, what's your relation with that northern industrial gang? The D8 is going to decide for us. I suppose we can roll physically because it's not like I need a second. Not physically, I mean digitally. Because it's not like we need a second thing. 1 being bad and 8 being good. And, anything in between arranging to certain things. 6. 6 on the chart relates to, let me find our AI. Not a real AI. It's, see if it's charts and so forth. Let's see here. When rolling a d8 with the result of a 6 on the chart equates to slightly, ever so slightly. Well, 4 is low average, 5 is high average, 6 is good-ish, sort of. It's not like it's exceptional, but they're not on terrible terms with the gang up north. So, we'll work with them. We had 2 options there. If they weren't on good terms, we would have worked against them. But, I mean, I was expecting us to work against them, to be fair, but The bot has spoken. We'll work with the gang up north. See what they need doing. Probably not going to pay well, but, we'll take it. Oh, we should probably make quick note of that. It's important to note things. Let's see, where's our sheet? Here we are. Nope, that's not it. There it is. Interact. Building scraps. Find our gang. This should be their chart, sort of. Yep. Zoom in. Here we go. We know we're on bad terms with the zoo gang, so we could mess with them. Let's make a note. Allied gang on somewhat okay terms with industrial gang. We'll also place that under the industrial gang's information. Just so we don't, like, look at the other one and get confused, just in case we're looking at the other one. Where is it? Slightly up a bit? Yeah, because we worked on them here. There we are. That should do that. In fact, let's go a little deeper. And by that, I mean we're just going to quickly pop on over to a different book. Trust me, it won't be long. It's going to be just a moment. Okay, here we are. Disposition chart. We'll say there. It's a flip between intrigued or friendly on disposition. As it's a 50-50, let's roll. No, no, no. I'd have to open separate files. I'll roll a d6. High is the better one. Low is the worst one. 3. So low. So they are simply intrigued +1. Intrigued +1. Okay, now we'll quickly note that here. Which would, by the way, connect into the contacts chart if they ever actually considered themselves contacts. You can have disposition without being a contact, but contacts have dispositions. Let's see, let's go over to ours. And just note that they're intrigued. Okay, back to the game. Let's see. So, let's make the screen visible again. Yeah, we'll go over and see if they need any work done. Something simple, quick, can get us a bit of cash. So, you and Aldous will head to their territory. Well, that's a bit risky. Yeah, let's head to their territory. We will find one of their buildings, which is going to require a check, will take 10 for a total of 13, I believe it would be. It's been a while. Um, yeah, 13. Because last time we did the math on this, it is 4 for our AI and net access, -1 for our terrible charisma, which brings us to, would be a +4, -1 for 3, plus 10 for taking 10 for 13. So it takes us a little while, but we ask around and get information on the location of one of their places, because it's not going to be hard to get information on one of the places. It's rather simple. Check of 13 should succeed. Which will lead us to one of the factories. Upon arriving at one of the factories, other than being not the best maintained and a bit, you know, people milling about, some workers going about their business, doing their best to ignore the gangsters just chilling about, some of them doing a bit of work, but, you know, they're mostly here for protecting their territory and operations and that, you know, talking, chilling, that kind of thing. So we'll approach cautiously, of course. Of course, we are in heavy combat armor, which let's be honest, we're probably in quite. I mean, it's not like we're safe. We're not safe. But if they start firing pistols or even SMGs, we'll be fine-ish. I mean, the dice are finicky. They could get a good shot. They could get a very good burst. But we're in heavy combat armor. By the way, assuming they're using standard 9mm SMGs and pistols, they might be using better. They might have rifles. But my point is, let's say they started firing with pistols. That's like 2d6. We have DR10. So their average is going to be 7. Let's say they have a SMG and the burst firing. Could get a 10 on average, maybe even 11 if they do a 20-round burst. To damage as opposed to hit. You know, like, they might do some points of damage. But, I mean, by the time they got anything significant in with such small calibers, we'd be ripping into them with laser rifles. Or with a laser rifle, and then, you know, like, if they have armor, we'll switch to armor-piercing cells. They might have armor-piercing rounds, which would be bad for us. Anyway, point is, we should be somewhat safe. Anyway, approaching them with some caution, Yelena Aldis will approach the nearest group that appeared to be hanging out near a sort of support pole. And yeah, a metal support pole going up to part of the factory in sort of a open, but under the factory, not under the factory, like, you know, open area. It's like a building if it was missing walls and just had support beams. I'm not sure the exact terminology for it. Some sections have walls, but not the area facing the outside. So she'll approach them, look around at the somewhat dirty metal plating and some tool kits laying around and so forth. And she'll approach and ask she'll approach, let's see. It's not like they're worried about police or anything. So she's just going to just say, hey, you have any work you need done? Anything you can't be bothered to do that you need? done. I was sort of told that you work out of this area, and we'll see whether they have any contracts. Well, what's their response? For that, let's have a little fun. Assuming I can find it. Because, I mean, we are being a little bit sketch and weird, but, you know, search, search. There we are. Let's open the big book of characters' actions. There's, of course, like 3 different, 4 if you want to be technical, or maybe more, methods we can use to see what NPCs do. There's the simple method, there's the other simple method, there's the complex method, then there's the other complex method. We're going to go with one of the complex methods, just for fun. Simple method being, well, there's multiple layers in each one, but simple method being the charts that are just like NPC acts like this, or role description, and so forth. Well, we're going to go with the advanced chart, which is, well, we'll see. Here we are. Assuming we can find it. Let's open the index. Okay, let's see. Here we go. What is their current goal? Wrong section. I think I'm in the wrong book. Here we are. Okay. First thing we do is roll a d6. 2. We also need to determine their status towards us. Slightly hesitant. So they will avoid revealing their goals, but try to find out our goals. So in a sense, they'll ask what we're doing here, why we want work here, because we're definitely not from around here. Yula and Aldous will reply with a basically explaining she's a mercenary, stuck in the area for a while, and she's been working a bit with another gang. She'll tell them what gang. It's not like she's hiding that. She'll tell them she's been working with that gang on some, you know, filling some contracts, but there's a bit of a lull in work. And so, things beeping again, my apologies. There we go. Yes, that there's a bit of a lull in work, and that, basically, she's hoping they have something. I mean, to point out, she is a mercenary, and, well, if there's a lull in work, she isn't really getting paid, is she? What do they think about that? Let's see. Okay, we go to here. Is this the right one or did I switch to the wrong one again? That's the question. This is the wrong one. This is the right one. Okay. Acquaintance. Here we are. So we're going to make a quick check now. Seeing whether they will assist us. Let me quickly read the thing to make sure I'm doing this right. It's been a while since I used the more complex charts, so trying to get slightly used to the complex charts again. We need to choose what we want to do. Okay, so this counts as diplomacy. Okay, so this will count as diplomacy. What is the difficulty? There we are. We are going to have to roll. We can't take 10. Theoretically, the difficulty is going to be, if I'm getting this right, technically like 14 in this case, which we can't take 10 on because we average a 13. So let's roll. Here we go. We just need 11 or more. Come on, dice. Don't fail me now. That's great. So, we failed. What does that mean on the chart? On failure, roll here. Okay. We're looking for a D100. Theoretically, the way it works, they might still help us, honestly. Just because the way it's calculated just significantly lowers the chance if we fail. Let's see. 1. 1. Why? Okay. I rolled a 1 on a D100. They immediately turn hostile. That's fun. It is. I have no problems with it. I'm happy with whatever happens. I'm just saying, like, of anything we could have rolled, it was okay. It was like a 55% chance to succeed, and then a 1% chance to roll a one. Technically, there was like a 3% chance they'd turn hostile. Had we rolled a 1 to a 3, they would have turned hostile. We happened to roll a 1, the worst possible. So, you know. Okay. Let me quickly go over to the chart. I don't know whether turn hostile means immediately like combat hostile, because this is technically a social encounter. It could mean different kinds of hostile. I'm checking. Because I mean, like, how do I put it? I mean, there's one that's just like ignores or gives misleading stuff or lies or so forth. So let's see whether that is combat initiating. The NPC turns openly hostile to you. Okay, we'll leave it up to the bot. It states at the GM's discretion, this could immediately trigger a combat encounter, or perhaps the PCs have a final chance to defuse the situation. So here's what we'll do. We'll roll a d6. On a 1, it is, 1, 2, combat. 3, because we rolled a plain 1. Otherwise, I'd say 1 combat, 2 and 3 not. But as we have a 1 on a d100, we'll say 1 or 2 combat. 3 and 4 is going to be no, let's do this. 1, 2, or 3 combat. 4 or 5 anger. 6 we get another chance. 1, 2, 3 combat. 4, 5 anger. 6 another chance. 1 we're fighting. So, having approached them, you then Aldous seems to misconstrue them saying pretty much to leave immediately. And she doesn't quite listen. She points out that she's just here for work. I mean, look, they obviously can't handle what they're doing themselves. It's better to outsource to somebody who's actually skilled in this kind of thing, you know? And they don't take that quite nicely. They seem to take offense to being told that they're bad at what they do. And, well, Yulia and all this they'll tell her to, like, well, at that point, they'll be angry. They'll sort of reach for the weapons and tell her to fuck off, basically. And Yulia and all this will see them reaching for their weapons-ish and basically say, careful, it wouldn't be good to have 2 dead gangsters here, you know? They'll take very much offense to that and draw their weapons, as will Yulana Aldous. Initiative. Yulana Aldous gets a 15. They get a 13. Yulana Aldous goes first. Normally, one would usually have to check, but I know for a fact, sort of. How do I put this? I mean, I'll show it to you just because, for fairness' sake, but I've been doing this a long time. We have a +4 on our dexterity. 15 plus 4 versus 13 plus NPC sheets. 13 plus 2 for a total of 15 versus a flat 15 plus 4. You know, like, point is, yeah, it's not really going to work out for them. So Yelena Aldous goes first. They draw their weapons. Yelena Aldous will draw hers. Do we have quick draw? That's an important question. No. So both parties are going to take a half action, pulling their weapons. Unfortunate. It puts us at a slight disadvantage. Area fire. That's our only option. Normally, if we had quick draw, I would do 2 bursts. Burst, burst, drop them both. You know? But we don't, so area fire, because we only have, wait, area fire is a full round action, isn't it? Shit. Let's see, let me double check. Quick combat, chance. I don't want to break my own rules, you know? Yeah, area fire is a full action. That's not ideal. So we'll just burst one of them for 10 rounds. We are going to burst to damage. No, we're firing 10 rounds, so we'll burst to hit. Why not? Burst to hit is going to be minus 10, because we're bursting with 10 to hit. Minimize that. Maximize this. Let's see. Make sure I'm getting my numbers right. 10 rounds. It's going to be plus 2 damage, plus 4 to hit. That's great. That's just lovely. Absolutely. You gotta love when you roll the 1 on your attack, you know? So we miss. We miss. Oh, GM bot. Are they throwing down an action die to force a critical? It's going to be 2d10s. 5 and 1 is 6. No. Even if we added 4, that's still no. They're not going to force a critical failure on you, Leonardus, which is actually somewhat smart. I mean, debatably. I mean, at worst, her gun will jam or she'll drop it, more than likely. Could be slightly worse, but that's what would likely happen if they force a critical fail. While, if they don't, what will happen is they'll have those action die if they take shots. If they get hit and critically injured, they can use action die to theoretically survive. So it's not like it's, oh, they should use it here. There's tactics as to when you want to use your action die. And this is one of those times where the reason I wrote with the bot is it's not necessarily tactically advantageous for them to force the crit fail here. So I asked the bot. Because not instantly dying to a burst of laser fire could be seen as slightly better. Anyway, that's Leonardus' turn. One of the gangsters will move behind the pole, the beam. The other will, oh, that would be his full action, wouldn't it? Not having quick draw in this kind of situation is really not ideal, is it? So for them, one of them will move behind the pole to gain cover. The other one will run back a little bit and get behind some crates for cover. I mean, laser rifle rounds are ripping off in all directions, so, you know, not getting shot is important to them. Yulana Aldous, however, does not really have cover she can take. So that's actually the enemy's turns. Let's set up a timer. For that, I'm not going to physically do anything here. What I'm going to do is I'm personally going to grab a d6. Not one of these two. I'm going to grab one of my other d6s. This one, because it's different, you know? And we are going to set it to 6. When it gets to 0, a minute and some odd seconds, a minute and 6 seconds will have, what? No. 30 seconds. 5, because 10's in a minute. 36 seconds will have passed when that gets to 0. The reason I bring that up is we are in their territory at sort of one of their bases. Sort of. So, if that 6 gets to 0, of course it goes to 1, but once it gets to 1, one more turn, then we remove it. So I suppose 40-something seconds. Basically, when it gets to 0, more gangsters will show up. We could just fall back to our bike, technically. Our bike, by the way, would be parked like over here, so we could get to it this turn, get onto it next turn, but we wouldn't be in cover the entire time. They didn't even shoot at us. We shot at them. They went for the guns. We shot first. That's not gonna look good. Let's see. I mean, what would we care? I mean, from like a relation standpoint. It's not like I care that our adventurer, Yelena Aldous, is shooting people. I mean, she's a mercenary who wants revenge. Like, she'll shoot people, no questions asked. You know, like, it's not like that matters from like a moral perspective. I only mean from like a social, oh, hey, I kind of want to work with these people. Well, we just shot at them and they didn't shoot at us yet. So, you know. Anyway. Like I said, more action, more risk. Would you look at that? We're already having action and risk. So, is it worth? Is it worth? So, just for thinking sake, this, what we do here is Galactic Requiem. Juliana Aldous has no special protections. It's not like she can't die. She dies just as easy, theoretically speaking. I mean, like, of course, we have heavy combat armor that we're wearing. We spent our money on it and so forth, but, you know, but we have no special protections. It's not like we have some, we're the player thing. No, no. We die theoretically just as easy as them. So we need to consider this in general. Yeah, we want to be more risky. Is it worth fighting these people when in half a minute a bunch more are going to arrive? A bunch more that we're not really gaining anything killing? I mean, at that point, it would just be violence for the sake of violence. It's not like we have any grudge against them. It's not like they need to learn a lesson. Tell you what, we'll move towards the bike, and we will fire our last 5 rounds. Let's see whether that's actually enough. I'm curious now. I want to know how many rounds it takes to suppress. Perfect. No. No. Unfortunate. It is 5 shots to suppress, which is good. We have 5 shots. It's a 4-round action, however. So we can't move and do it. We will simply move and suppress, not with the ability, but just throw down 5 burst to hit rounds in their general direction. Specifically, the one not behind the beam. He's a bit further away, should still be within 1 range category of our gun, so that doesn't matter, but his cover's slightly worse, so let's see. 5. Plus, it's not an automatic failure. I don't think we're going to hit, but, you know. Best to check. 5. Assuming I can find our file. Not the small one, looking for the big file. There we are. 5 plus 9. Oh. Sorry, I was shocked. That's a bit higher than I expected. 5 plus 9 plus 5 round burst to hit, which is going to be 3. 17. That might actually hit. Let's check. 17 versus base AC of 13. They're not wearing armor and so forth, so base AC of 13, even if they were wearing armor, it wouldn't matter. We have armor-piercing rounds loaded currently. 13, but they have cover. So let's see. 13 plus chest-high wall, meaning 4. So that's 17. Now I have to check another thing, because they're both exactly the same. 17 versus 17, yeah. Who wins? Equals or beats the target's defense, you hit and deal damage. Okay, so we do damage. Yeah, equals or beats. So we're going to do damage plus 1. I believe it's plus 1. Let's double check. Yeah, 5 rounds is usually plus 0, but we have the special feat that increases both by 1. So that's going to be 1 additional damage. Let's go over to our sheet. There's no rounds left in the cell. 2d10 plus 1. Let's go over to our dice roller. 2d10 plus 1. 9. We can't roll high today. This is pain. I mean, we rolled high on initiative, but nothing else. We rolled a 1 on a D100. And then our first attack was a 1. And then we got a 3. Like, come on. Please. 9. Let's see. NPCs. Con of 11. So they're not obliterated. Health of 17. Con of 11. That's half of their con. Meaning they're going to take a wound. Technically, no. It's a gun. Sometimes I forget rules. That is 11. That is their con. So that is a wound because it is a gun. So they're going to take a full-on critical wound if they don't do anything. Let me make a quick note. 9 dam versus 17 HP. So, real quick, let's go over to our criticals. Well, let's go over to action dice. Step 1. Action dice. They have... Remember when I said they might not want to use the action die on stopping or forcing me to fail? Here's why. This is exactly why. They have 2 action dice and have just taken a critical wound. Here we are. Looking for the section. It is a full con wound. Meaning they need to roll critical wound effect. I'm thinking about rules, by the way. The way we use them. I'm not sure if this is good or accurate, so I need to check that at some point. They need to roll, save a die. 16. Plus. Plus what? Plus 1. 17. Versus 19. That is 19, right? One more thing to check. Death, dying, and healing. Massive damage. We are using the suffering variant. Ten plus the damage. Nope, it's this one. 15 plus damage minus threshold. Okay. 15 plus 9 minus threshold of 11. 13. Okay, so they do succeed. Nope. 15, technically. The 2 bonus. No. Yeah. So, they're fine. So they cannot spend dice. Okay. They don't immediately die, but they don't need to spend dice. But that does mean they take a wound. For that, let's go to the fun chart of injuries. Here we are. We'll do the fun chart. We could just say critical wound fall on rolled body part, minus 4 that is, but let's have a bit of fun. We hit them in the right leg. And the 2 times in the right leg. Specific hip joint, knee. The hip and knee. Final. The laser crackles as the shots hit them. Somewhat behind cover, their leg is ever so slightly exposed, and the rounds hit it. The laser crackles, and the bone shatters. Broken bones through skin. Superheated light, you know? 9. So their knee's dislocated, and their hip is shattered. Okay. They need to make one more save. 13 plus 1 is 14. They fall over. They'll use the action die on that. They will add a d4 because they just need 1 point. The reason they're going to throw an action die on that, by the way, is if they fail and fall over, they will fall to their right, meaning they will fall out of cover. If they're out of cover, they no longer get that +4 bonus. And they don't know whether I'm going to fight or stay. And they'd rather not lose that +4 defense bonus from being in cover and, tumble out of cover. So they'll spend an action die. They just need to roll a 1, meaning they will not fail. But, I mean, let's roll it for fun. 2. So, yeah, they don't fail. They remain in cover. They don't tumble over. Okay. They also have a -4 on their leg as well. It's just been lasered to oblivion with some number of 5 rounds ripping into it. So, it brings it over to their turn. But I will be right back. My apologies. I return. I return. I definitely didn't go and grab some sort of coffee biscuit thing, which I should have saved for my coffee, but you know. I return. So, yes, it is indeed Crunchy Bits brand coffee biscuits, More so cookies than biscuits, but, you know, it's good. Yes, I know. An Imperial Lord having Crunchy Bits, isn't that like a low tier, low quality brand? Yes, yes, it is. But, you know, it's just not bad. They make okay coffee biscuits. Like, yeah, I agree. It's not like really fitting for an Imperial Lord, but it reminds me of the good old days when I was a conscript, you know? It's good enough. Besides, it's not like I'm gonna have them stock that here. Well, yeah, we have the fancy stuff, but it's not like I'm gonna go and have them bring the fancy stuff middle of, broadcasting and all that. So, back to it. Um, it is their turn. They will fire. They are going to fire their weapons. Yes, an SMG and a pistol. The SMG troop is going to burst fire. He's going to burst to hit, because I'm in heavy armor. He's going to 20 round burst to hit, because he has a 40 round mag. 7. 7 plus. NPCs. 5. For a total of 12 plus burst to hit. 12 plus 5. 17. So he says 17. What is our AC? That's an important question. 26. Wait, is that even right? Max Dex 3. So yeah. Turns out the damage reduction doesn't matter because they just skip off the armor. There are flashes and sparks as it's definitely a hit over my dodge ability. It would have hit me with my ability to dodge not being counted. So it is a direct armor saved, not an armor save check, but like the armor prevents the damage. The rounds hit the armor, but don't pen, and don't even get to DR. Okay. One more. He'll fire again. This one's at -5, but might as well empty his magazine. 13. -5 is 8. Plus. 5. 13. So. And then the burst. 18. Once again, skimming off the armor. As the rounds spark off of Juliana Aldous as she backs towards her bike. The other gangster with a pistol. I mean, let's be honest. Not even medium. Medium's good. Medium combat armor is what soldiers wear, for the most part. Like in the galaxy, medium combat armor is what soldiers wear, and is generally probably going to minimize or stop pistol fire and SMG fire. It's going to minimize it, if not stop it. We're in heavy combat armor. It's like it's worse than somebody rolling up in, say, it's worse than somebody rolling up in with a bulletproof vest and an assault rifle. Like, we're talking fully, like, let me put it this way. Heavy combat armor is the basis on which power armor is built. Literally, light powered armor is just heavy armor with a frame. I'm not even kidding. Like, sorry, slight tangent. We're explaining. Of course, medium powered armor and heavy powered armor is far better. There's also lowercase powered armor, more so exo enhanced armor, which is different. But from a statistic standpoint, here we are. So heavy combat armor, defense of 10, DR of 10. Of course, it can be less. You can get worse sets, but this is a top of the line set. So light power armor, defense 10, DR 10. Light power armor is a bit heavier, if you want to be honest. It has a base HP increase of 25. That basically is taken before you, so it has a bit more plating and so forth. It's not like heavy combat armor is equivalent to light powered armor. I mean, in like base deflecting rounds, damage reduction. Of course, it has its own health modifier, and of course, better max dex and strength increases, speed increases, depending on what kind of power armor you're getting and all that. But damn near equivalent to shooting at somebody in powered armor with a pistol. It's loosely equivalent to if somebody has steel anti-ballistic, not ceramic, but anti-ballistic steel plate that is rated to stop 50 cals, and they're firing at it with 9mm rounds. You know, like, yeah, I was a bit worried. Now I'm like, maybe I'm a bit. Oh, I mean, we admittedly we did get the armor when we were doing military operations. We were like, hey, I'm not sure if that's archived, but earlier in our campaign, we were doing frontline military operations, actually fighting military units with armor-piercing rounds and assault rifles and all that. And we've gotten into fights in which we fought people with assault rifles and got severely injured with our medium combat armor. So we were like, let's get heavy combat armor. Then we get heavy combat armor, and now these gangsters with their 9mm rounds are like, we're not doing anything, you know? Anyway, the guy with the pistol. What's he even gonna do? Let's be honest. I mean, he's he stands a chance, but like he doesn't get a bonus to damage from bursts. He has a pistol. Well, does he? I think he can. Let's double check the rules. He could try to double tap if he has the feat, but I'm not sure if he has that feat. He could. Quick combat shots. He could do a narrow burst, technically. It's a -3 to hit, which is going to make it hard to get through the 10 AC bonus from the armor, but he gets a +2 to damage. Eh. His leg's injured. He's bleeding. That's the one, by the way, with the pistol. He is going to take full cover. He's bleeding. He has a pistol. A person's in heavy combat armor. He's going to just hold. Let's see. That means he's going to technically call full defense, and he is not counted as fighting from around cover. Meaning, by the way, as he's not fighting from cover, let's explain real fast. So, if you're fighting from certain cover, that's why he has a +4 bonus. He was considered fighting from around cover. So he has 1/2 cover, or well, mostly because he didn't attack or anything. It's not like he was his cover's okay, and he wasn't attacking at the time, so he has 1/2 cover. Now, technically, being completely behind it, he's not absolutely protected, so it's not total cover, but he's basically increasing his cover to like 9/10, as he's absolutely not going to take combat actions. He's just behind that thing. So his cover bonus increases to +10. He cannot attack, though. Otherwise, he'd be considered at 1/2 cover again. So he's just absolutely behind it, taking cover. And he's going to try and heal his leg. And by heal, I mean he's going to first aid it so he doesn't bleed to death. With a roll of a 20. Had he shot, he would have hit us. I mean, even if he hit, let's be honest. Even if he hit, he'd be doing 15 damage max. Is it +2? No, it's +2 damage. So he'd be doing 12, 13, 14 minus 10 is 4 damage maximum. So, that's if he bursts. So, I mean, it's not like it's a waste that he's preventing himself from dying. But that's what he'll do. He'll just prevent himself from dying. He's going to wrap the wound, pull the thing, and basically tourniquet it as best he can and try to not pass out from the shattered bone and the seared flesh, Let's see. Um, that ticks down our timer to 4 turns and brings it back around to our turn. Quick reload. Let's open our sheet so we can actually initiate that. We're not actually going to fire, by the way. Quickly reload with a mag, or cell in this case. Specifically, not every cell, but this kind, is basically a free action. Because it would be normally a half action, so it becomes a free action. And it's better to have a gun with rounds in it than not. So, we're going to load non-AP, bring us up to 40. We'll note that it's normal loaded. We'll go over to our AP. One empty. And this drops to 0. Well, from 11 to 10, because there's 1 in the gun of normal rounds. Okay. The reason we're swapping back to normal is, I mean, we had 15 rounds. It's better to just use them, because, you know, but AP rounds, if you might remember, normal rounds were like $80. AP rounds were $560 or something like that. So, you know, not really wanting to spend that on gangsters not in armor, you know? So, reloading with quick reload. Have a turn to get to our car, hover bike. Have a turn to get on the hover bike. We're now on the hover bike. We could have gone to like an encounter map, but I didn't know what was going to happen. That's the great thing about bots. We could quickly make the encounter map, but I don't think it's really worth it because we're sort of leaving, you know? It's not like we're pushing in and having to know things too bad. So, also they're taking penalties to hit us now because they'd be about here, meaning we're about 100 feet away, give or take. Our gun has the range. Theirs do not with SMGs and pistols. They're taking at least a -2, maybe even a -4 due to range penalties at this point. Let's see. We will. No, it's end of our turn. We could heroic surge, but we have a limited amount per day. I mean, we're out of actions. So it's their turn. One of them's bleeding out with a pistol. Well, he's no longer bleeding out, but he has a pistol and is in nice cover. He's also at 8 HP, so he's not going to do anything. The other one, I mean, they're not fanatical, you know? The other one has cover and an SMG. If he wants to come out of there, he is going to have to step out of cover. Not ideal. He's going to take the -2, fire at range. He has to reload, doesn't have quick reload. 1 turn reload, 1 burst, 20 rounds to hit. Eventually, he might do damage, you know? 18. I think that's a hit. Let's find out. Their bonus to hit's 5. Yep, bonus to hit's 5. 23. Huh, that's weird. We just had a bit of FTL disturbance. My apologies. Very sorry about that. Hopefully things are still working. It's hard to tell. We had a bit of FTL disturbance there for like a split second. Um, 28. Our AC is, I mean, it's right here, but I'm trying to flip to it to a different thing. 26. He hits. Now, it's time to, well, not get hit. Armor save. What are the rules for an armor save? It's been a while. Come on, don't lag on me. I mean, given our slight FTL disturbance, I suppose that's to be expected right this moment. That's unfortunate. I'll have to use the manual files. Okay, manual file time. Armor save, here we are. AC minus 10. A d20 plus AC minus 10. Look, we're going to make it as hard for them to get hit. Well, we're going to make it as hard for them to get a hit as possible. In this, I mean, obviously within the rules. Is it worth taking damage to the armor? So, one thing I mentioned when talking with players about armor saves, it's really a question of whether you want to get to make the armor save. It's not like it's a guaranteed success, but damage to your armor costs money to repair, or parts, or materials. Damage to yourself, at least if it's like 2 points, you can heal in a day. Like, unless you're on some sort of apocalypse world or something. If you have medicine and technology, you could heal like 2 damage a day at no cost. Like, is it worth taking it to the armor? In this case, we're going to try and take it to the armor, of course. 1d20 plus 16. We're trying to beat 28. '21, we do not succeed the armor save. Still probably not going to hurt us. Let's find out. Okay, so we don't succeed the armor save. It's not too important, because they still need to get past our damage reduction. Here we go. Trying to remember what bonuses they get. It's a burst to hit. So 2 damage on top of their standard. That's going to be 2d6 plus 2. Yeah, they could theoretically hurt us if they roll near maximum. Let's give them the chance. And they do. They don't roll maximum, but they get 12. They actually hurt us. We have DR 10, so like I said, there's a chance that the SMG could do something. We failed our armor save and, like, shocking. Our heavy armor failed us. Not really. I mean, if we weren't wearing armor, we'd be taking injuries and stuff, and, like, look, we'd be at like worse than a half health. I mean, the armor's definitely saved us, but drop that to 21 because it's 2 damage to our actual health. Let's see. 2 damage does not proc any form of injury. It would have to be half of our con up to maximum con. And so absolutely no injury roll. Armor also saved us from an injury roll. So yeah, no. It just does 2 damage. It's not technically like a penetrating hit more than likely. Probably hits the armor, much like getting hit, rattles and bruises, and maybe breaks something. Not in a bad way. Probably doesn't break anything, but it's not ideal. It's not fun, but it's not lethal. It's an SMG, no less. I'm a little shocked. I mean, given the first failure and the statistical chance for it to not do that, I'm just a little shocked. Okay. Brings it around to our turn. Well, on our turn, we're gone. Well, let's see how far. Probably shouldn't have closed that then. Let's see. Three, 5, 2. So we can go to 350, theoretically. Okay, so we have a lot of speed. But what do the rules say? Acceleration. We can try and go faster. Do we want to? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're looking for a drive DC 15. Might as well. I mean, it is risk. Let's give it a shot. Because we're going to remove 2 squares if we don't. It'd be out of their range, but we'd be within their territory. So we might as well. What's our drive? 0. But it is dex, so 4. Can we roll an 11 or more? Probably not. The dice hate us today. But let's give it a shot. Here we go. Drive check. Yes. That is enough. That's enough even without our modifier. Okay. So we can move a total of 5 squares as we accelerate. As we hard accelerate. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you're gonna all this hits the gas and accelerates expertly down the street as fast as possible. Timer swaps to 3. We are no longer in their line of sight, there's technically building and stuff between us. And even then, we're like 350 feet away. So, gonna have a lot of penalty with their guns. Okay, our turn. Accelerate, not the special ability, just normal accelerate to 15. Let's do some quick math just so it's easier for me. 75. As you learn all this, zips down the tunnel, almost out of their territory. The timer drops to 2. Come on, flip. There we go. We're not going to accelerate faster than this. It's too risky. There. Drops to 1. Drops to 0. They are alerted. Well, I mean, they're able to respond now. They were likely alerted when the gunfire started, but they're now in the area. The word is now out. Oh, bot, is there anybody close enough, like to the edge, to appear on screen? Are they close enough to be ready and appear on screen? We're going to say a -2. Chaos? Yes. Not yes on the question, chaos on the thing. Are they close enough to appear? With a -2. 5 and 6. No chaos. 11, which would be a yes. -2. 9. 9 on the GM bot is a no, by the way. But it's a no because. So let's see. No, they're not close enough to the edge to respond. But what? There are some ahead of us outside, not necessarily on the main road, but outside the territory that might be. They will make a response check to see whether they can. Not a response check, but basically a check. It's going to be versus DC 15. 14 plus their modifier, yes. A car can respond from further on. Let's place a marker. So one vehicle worth of them can respond from a little further on. Here we go. Place it about here. We'll assume there's some way for them to get here. And they start at 45. Okay. It's our move. Their move. If they get to here, they might be able to catch us. Maybe. Unfortunately, while we do have a hover bike, we can't really hover here. It means it might turn into a chase. It's not going to be a long chase before we get back to base, but it might turn into a chase. Let's do some quick math. Make sure we're not doing something insane. Divide by 8.8. We're going a bit fast. It's not like it's super risky, but we're going a bit fast. I don't like it. By the way, if my math's right, we're going about 85 miles per hour. I know that's not like exceptionally fast, but still. Okay. Our move. Their move. Okay, now they can actually start accelerating. Actually, they can start accelerating this turn. Let's see. Nine. So, if that's 9, they can now move to 15, technically. Okay, so they will accelerate and match our speed. Not ideal. That means if we want to, we'll have to go faster. What's the maximum speed of their vehicle? That's not ideal. The maximum speed of their vehicle is like 22 squares. Hmm. Ours is much more than theirs, but I don't like risking that. So, normally, by the way, if you're driving within a reasonable method within the laws, it's not a check to drive, which is why we have nothing in our drive skill. It's considered that you're going to succeed driving normally. If you try and do maneuvers or anything fancy or risky, you have to make checks. And speed-wise, if we go faster, we currently, by the way, have a -2 on our checks. If we go faster, we'll have a -4 on our checks. I don't want to have to roll with a -4. Have you seen my luck? I don't want to go faster. But that means they might catch up. They're likely going to risk it. They probably have skill and drive. But we're close to base. Let's see how it goes. Our move. As we go reasonably fast down the area, their move. They can risk it, so let's see. So they can go 22 squares. So they can move 110. They will have to make a check, though. They move to there, and they make a drive check due to speed category and things blocking their way and it being risky enough that it's required. Drive check. What's the DC? Let's double check the rules. Looking for the section. Here we are. $15. Okay. D20 plus 15. well, not d20 plus 15, d20 versus 15. 4 plus. What's their drive? 4. 8 plus 2, 10. That's not good. 2 action dice. They're going to spend both of their action dice. I have to roll these individually. So 2 action die. 3, 1, 4. No. 14. They were 1 away. 1 away. Had that action die got a 2, or the other action die rolled a 4. Well, no, they'd both have to roll false. But if that rolled anything but 1, they would have, or if that other one rolled a 4, they would have succeeded. But they do crash-ish. No, they don't technically crash. They risk losing control. Had they, because they didn't, they failed by 1. So they're able to theoretically dodge the crash, but lose control. Let's see. In this case, must make a drive check to retain control of the vehicle. They must make the same check again. Okay, let's give it a shot. It's actually worse than I thought, because they're going it all out, so they'd have a -4 on top of that. Let's see. 20. They don't lose control of the vehicle. They succeed the check. Well, no, it's not a combat check. That's still a success, though. 16. With the -4 plus their bonuses. So yeah, that's a success. They do not lose control of their car. They are fine. It was almost a crash. Okay. That's not ideal for us. So I'll move. Okay, their move. Are they going to maintain that speed? Yeah, they're confident now. Do they even need to? No, they don't need to maintain that speed. They'll slow down a bit. We're within range. The driver will slow down. The passenger will lean out the window and just spray some SMG rounds with a -2 due to speed. Let's see. 18 +5 is once again a hit, even with -2. 26. So the rounds rip in and they damage our bike. Not us, technically. 2d6 plus 2. 12. 7. We will try and take it to a pot. How's that work? How's our new vehicle health work? First rules first. Save. We have to try and make a save. We have to beat 26. Which we don't do. Meaning, we can now try and take it to a pot. Let's double check the rules on that. Oh, wrong book. That's specifically under our vehicles book. Half a second. Here we are. Nope, it's crashed. Have another second. Here we go. Unless I put it on the GM book, maybe? Nope, special vehicle stuff. Oh, okay. So I don't choose, apparently. The pilot of a vehicle may choose to take a hit to a component instead of taking the full damaged HP. So let's roll a component. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to roll not visibly because I need another thing open, unfortunately. I do only have one display, so 10. Let's see. I mean, like, I have another, but I'd never hook it up, you know? 10. That is a re-roll. Well, no. Is it? Let's double check our vehicle. Let's double check how it works and double check our vehicle. Interact. Here we go. Yeah, we don't have special equipment. Yeah, the vehicle does not have special equipment. What do the rules say? Then it just goes to HP. Okay. So 12 minus 5. 7. Drops our vehicle to 18 HP as rounds rip into it. Okay. I could have sworn I changed the thing in regards to that. Half a second. So I've always, as you know, we do D20-ish in our system, but I've always hated vehicles in it. Not vehicles in general, like the concept of vehicles, just how they're handled in health. And I could have sworn I made a few additional altercations recently. Hmm. But I don't know where I would have stored that information. Would that be under combat charts? It'd be under damage to objects, wouldn't it? Unless I didn't transfer it over. We'll just take the damage. So, let's see. That's their move. It is our move. We're not going to risk it still. In fact, because of the bot and the damage we just took, we'll hit our plot point. We will hit our plot point. We have to make a save. The vehicle rattles, having taken damage, and we'll see if we crash or not. We're hitting that crash plot point. We must make a DC 15 save. We have only a +4. 19. As we turn the corner and the vehicle sputters, we don't crash, but the vehicle appears to be in a state. It is not destroyed, but it's not in the best of way. We will be taking a minus, but basically a penalty to our maneuvering and acceleration and so forth modifiers with the vehicle from now on until it's repaired. And that can count as the equipment hit that they hit, because they hit equipment, but we'll also give them full damage on it. So, yeah. But there are some things I need to do, unfortunately, and it is near coffee time. So, I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, we will call it here. We did start a bit earlier than usual, so, you know. And we got some action in, so, and we'll try and keep that up with our next stuff. Give me half a second. I really want to find this bit of information. No, not in this file. Here it is. Oh, that's how I wanted it to do it. I took from that system to do it this way. I know that's vague. I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself. So the way we would have done it is everything that happens technically within the way the rules work, but there would have been an additional roll in which basically, so we took 12 damage. So we'd make a save of 10 plus 6. Is what would have happened. In addition to, before we took damage, we'd make a save of 10 plus 6. If that failed, the damage would have then been applied to the vehicle. I say 10 plus 6, but technically, be rolling against 10 plus 6 with a roll of what? Did I note that one here? It depends on the material. So, by technicality, assuming I noted that somewhere around here, unless I didn't note that, which would annoy me greatly. I didn't. I need to make that a chart. Oh, the DR with a d20 plus 5 versus 16. Okay. Anyway, we're not going to go back and change that. So, I'm sorry for the little bit of doing some math there. I just like making sure I'm getting things right. Anyway, thank you all for stopping by. We're going to call it there this time. Next time, we'll work on world maps and so forth on World Building Wednesday. We might do stuff sometime between now and then. Maybe not. We'll try and get our news video out this week on Monday. We're going to try to do that. Next time, we continue this chase. Well, let's get the enemy's turn done. That way, makes my life easier. They'll try and do the same thing. They will make their attack. They get one attack. Not going to stop on the enemy's turn. My apologies. I know it's a bit of a... I just realized I forgot their second turn. 16. That is a hit for 11 damage. This time we'll make our save. D20 plus 5. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Success, meaning technically, what happens? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they scrape it. Okay. See, I'm sorry, quick additional tangent. That ends their turn, meaning we can be prepared for next. The problem is, I've been always trying to find a way that's not just boosting vehicle health ridiculously. Like, let me put it this way. Something might happen if you shoot a car's engine block with a 9mm repeatedly. Something might occur if you shoot the engine block of a car with a 9mm repeatedly. You might hit something important. I'm not entirely sure about the material strength and so forth. I know that rifle rounds will damage a car's engine block. Not sure about 9mm pistol rounds. They probably would. You can shoot a car through the door all day. You're not going to stop the car by shooting it through the door. So, just trying to find a system that works with D20 that makes it so vehicles work better. You know, it's a thing I need to work on. I always forget to actually put it on the list of things to work on. Anyway, sorry about all that. See you all next time. Thank you for stopping by. Next time's World Building Wednesday. We'll work on world maps and actual world building. And then we'll continue this next time on next Solo Sunday, which is on Friday and so forth. Yes. Thank you for stopping by.